Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Heidi Alonga. This month, we've been taking our newscasts on the road, and tonight we're live downtown at the Tucson Convention Center. That's where we find our Pat Parris field anchoring. Hey there, Pat.
Hey, Heidi. Yeah, we're taking in this three-day event ahead of Saturday's event, the Tour de Tucson. This three-day event is an expo and a fiesta for Tour, and it is where the riders will pick up their race numbers. You see them coming in now, getting ready for the big ride. In 1983, looked a lot different. The nonprofit Perimeter Bicycling Association held its first event in Tucson. A group of fewer than 200 took part in that ride. Well, 41 years later, it has grown into one of the nation's largest cycling events. It's an annual Tucson tradition. Nearly 10,000 cyclists from southern Arizona and across the country, even the world, pedal their way through the Tucson Metro the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Hey, we're going to put on a tour. And he had the energy and the personality to do it. He did a great job.
Ralph Phillips is the voice of Tour. He's describing the idea of Richard De Bernardis, the founder of Tour back in 1983. That first Tour with 185 riders raised $4,500 for area charities. Phillips rode in the 1985 Tour, finishing third.
They started at Sabino Canyon at first, and you're on dirt road a lot of the time, and we had to cross the Santa Cruz, and it was flowing. So you wade through, and your feet get wet, and then you got to do the rest of it.
Today, Tour de Tucson doesn't cross any rivers, using a more southern route. It has grown into a major fundraiser for the Tucson community. Last year, the cycling event raised more than $5.8 million for nonprofits. Over the last 41 years, Tour has raised more than $121 million.
We want to eradicate polio in the world, and the Rotary Club is firmly behind that. They get lots of money from the Tour.
Legendary Tucson broadcaster Alan Big Al Caith, along with Ralph Phillips, drive just ahead of the lead riders and call the race on radio, something they've done together for nearly 15 years. The most memorable moments for Big Al?
We've had 2 train delays of the riders getting across the tracks, and we had to wait, a good 5-6 minutes at each time, so the finish times were not great.
So you never know. There might be a train delay in the race on Saturday. Big Al and Ralph Phillips will call the game on Saturday morning on ESPN Radio 1490. Now, Tour, of course, is an iconic Tucson event. It showcases southern Arizona's landscape, which is perfect, of course, for the riders, but it also showcases the spirit of southern Arizona. KGUN9's Ryan Fish, one of our downtown reporters, joins me now to talk about part of the Tour where people definitely have been coming together, right?
Yeah, and you talked about changes there, and with the changes we've seen with Tour. Well, just in the past few years, we've seen more and more adaptive riders participating in Tour, and Southern Arizona Adaptive Sports and their sponsor, Omeo, have a team dedicated to that cause, Team Access. They are advocating for accessibility for all athletes. Adam Finney has been riding hand cycles like this for nearly 2 decades.
Cycling really was important to me when I got injured almost 20 years ago. And so I just believe getting people outside, having a sense of freedom is really important.
After a couple of 100-mile Tours, this year he's dialing it back to the 32-miler.
Just to be around more of the team and just enjoy the community, the cycling community more.
That community rides together on Southern Arizona Adaptive Sports' Team Access. This year is its biggest yet.
We have a few riders this year that first time on bikes in almost 25 years.
136 riders made up of adaptive cyclists.
My son was a wheelchair user a few years back, and we borrowed a hand cycle.
And family and friends like John Bialas.
It provides tremendous mental and physical benefit. It just allows them to participate at the same level as everyone else.
The equipment catered to adaptive athletes.
A combination of recumbent bikes, trikes, hand cycles, tandems.
Can cost thousands of dollars.
Okay.
That's why the Eduardo Aguirre Adaptive Cycling Center at Keno Sports Complex is open year-round, giving adaptive riders a chance to try out these bikes before buying them.
We're also here not just to ride, but if people need to get out and just have a community, that's a big part of this cycling center as well.
On Saturday, they will be riding and raising money, and hoping next year even more will be along for the ride. And there are a lot of adaptive riders riding that are not part of Team Access, just riding on their own, and there are even more in the Tucson community. And that's what this team and this organization is all about, bringing that community together. And the ones that do ride in El Tour have seen upgrades the last few years and changes. They have ADA accessible bathrooms, a sign language interpreter at the starting line, I'm told, this year, as well as adaptable and easier parking for them. So it's really helped them.
Grown in a lot of ways since 1983. All right, normally we would say goodbye to Ryan Fish right now, but I want to bring in Heidi Alaga because if you haven't heard, I would like to let the audience to know that this is Ryan Fish's last broadcast at KGUN 9, moving on to bigger and better things. Heidi?
Yeah, I just want to say, Ryan, you are a class act and one of the most talented people I've ever worked with, and we're really going to miss you.
Yeah, we certainly are.
I'll always be grateful for my time here. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Pat. I just want to say thank you to all of you out there for watching, to my family, my mom, my stepdad, my grandparents, and uncles. They're here in Tucson. I've got my family here in Southern Arizona, and I've got my KGUN family here too.
You definitely do.
It's been really special, and this will always be a special place for me and my family.
And you're staying in the company.
Yes, I'm moving on to our sister station in Denver. So
still going to be around.
Still be very much in touch.
Thank you. Yeah, true professional. We appreciate all your efforts here at KGUN.
Thank you for everything, Pat.
All right, Ryan. Ryan Fish, going to be missed, certainly, but we appreciate all he has done. We're talking about El Tour tonight, and Ryan talked about adaptive athletes. Another one of our downtown reporters, Eddie Celaya, is joining us now. You spoke about to an adaptive organization about something that could be very important for these adaptive riders coming up on Saturday.
I did, and it's called a transfer board, and these transfer boards are used to help adaptive athletes slide pretty seamlessly from wheelchair to bike, and these transfer boards will be available throughout the route to help adaptive athletes transition to go to the restroom or to an aid table. And their presence at this year's tour is due in part to a woman named Mia Henson, who is the head of the Southern Arizona Adaptive Sports.
If you're a hand cycle user and you use a wheelchair for everyday use, you're not bringing your hand cycle with you on the ride. So in order to access the porta potties, you've got to have a wheelchair to get into, and a transfer board can help with that.
Slide it over. Now, these transfer boards, Pat, they may be small, but their impact is actually pretty big, and they retail for upwards of hundreds of dollars. So having them around is really a sign that things are becoming more accessible here at El Tour.
Absolutely. And the inclusive nature of this race gets bigger and broader every single year.
Really does.
All right, Eddie, thank you very much. Eddie, of course, another one of our downtown, Midtown reporters. Let's talk El Tour weather right now with Kyler Diggs, because it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. Is that right, Kyler?
Yeah, it sure does. As a matter of fact, a lot of the riders probably going to be saying, wow, I wish it was a little bit cooler out here. Now, it will be a bit of a cool start. Around 6 a.m. we'll see temperatures in the upper 40s, but rapidly warming into the lower 80s by the middle of the day. The good news here really is the wind. We're not going to see much in the way of wind. It'll pick up a little bit in the afternoon along with some high clouds. But wow, what a nice looking day we've got shaping up for us, really, for any outdoor activities over the next few days. And we're going to give you all the details coming up in your forecast.